Matrix is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of Shorts with Liz Clark.
Well, hello, welcome to the latest version of Shorts with Liz. And today I am honored to be with the legendary Dr. Cooper. For those that don't know, the founder of Aerobics, and at the young age of 94, has just released his 20th book. The learnings from Dr. Cooper are phenomenal, and I am so thrilled to be able to share some of those with you today. And his latest book is To Grow Healthier as You Grow Older. And for those that don't know, also he was the honoree of the first class of the Health and Fitness Hall of Fame. And so such a treat to be with Dr. Cooper today. And Dr. Cooper, if you're okay, I just want to jump right in with a few questions.
Thank you, Liz. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Yes. Okay. So, Dr. Cooper, your book, Aerobics, essentially launched the global fitness movement. And one of the things that you and I share in common, right, is about that global fitness and movement is about preventative healthcare. But when you wrote this in 1968, did you have any idea that what you were laying the foundation for our entire industry?
My wife typed that on an old manual typewriter. I mean, that's how adequate we were back in those days. It took us about almost a year or two to get that book published. But if you'd asked me to predict in 1968 the effect that they would have on the world, I'd have missed it 1,000-fold. I guess it's because, as I say in my book, that because my vision was finite, but the Lord's was infinite. You'll see throughout the book that there's underlying admission to the fact that I don't deserve this. The fact that the Lord has had his hand on my life is the reason I'm here today. With 90% of my medical school classes already died, here I am in my 95th year and still working regularly, giving presentations, podcasts, and traveling the world. I'll soon be traveling again and giving international presentations. So a lot of this has been the results of the great support I've had with organizations like URSA, which is now the National Health and Fitness Association. So again, it's an honor to be with you.
Oh, well, it's an honor to be with you. And so, as we just said, right, you're in your 95th year, you're releasing your 20th book, but I think this one's really special to you, right? Growing healthier as you grow older. And what inspired you to write this book in particular, and especially at this stage in your life and your career?
Well, it's really, as I keep saying, my swan song, since it's my 20th book, because I don't know if I'll be, well, I'm not anticipating dying in the near future, but in case I do, I've got something
A
in
nice even number, yeah, to just end on 20, right? Yeah.
I'd like to get to 100, but Lord willing or not, I don't know he'll make that. People ask me when I write the book, I said I want to Cooperize the world, because we've been able to show with our extensive research, which has made us successful here over the last 55 years, being able to document the value of exercise and make exercise being medicine. Because back in the early days, when I first published this book, exercise was contraindicated for people past 40 years of age, for example. I was taught in medical school that once you exercise too much, you get an athletic heart. Your heart gets muscular. It turns into fat. When you stop exercise, you die early and you go short in your lifespan. But what we found to the contrary, that if people follow these recommendations, not only is it prolonging lives, but it is improving the quality and quantity of the lives. We call that squaring off the curve, condensing the time of senility and senescence into a short period immediately prior to death. We did a study involving some 100,000 patients with roughly it was 100,000 patients, 70% men, 30% women. And we had come to the clinic at least 25 times over a 45-year period, and we got their death certificates. And we found they were squaring off the curve, dying this way, not prolonged way. At an average age for women of 90.4 years, or men 86.5 years. That means the average for men and women have been coming to this clinic on a regular basis are living 10 years longer than the national average. But they're enjoying quality life to the end. That's what I hope and pray to do. And that's all by getting Cooperized, which I'll talk about in the book, the 8 different recommendations we have for getting Cooperized. And the number one on that list is you must exercise, because exercise is the key to the foundation of long living. Why is it, for example, that people who are elite athletes, endurance type athletes, as I've been over my life, why is it that they're living longer? It may be because we're improving the function and efficiency of the heart, because one of the aerobic training effects is the heart. When back in the old days, we didn't have echocardiograms, and didn't know that enlarged heart that we were seeing with the chest x-rays wasn't just a muscular heart, it was a dilated heart, because it had dilated and improved what we call the ejection fraction, the amount of blood that can pump out with each stroke. And why do you think that the aerobic response to aerobic types program is the average heart rate of man will drop from 72 down to 50, 45 to 50, a woman 78 down to 50, 55? That's because it's a conservation of energy. The heart doesn't have to beat as much to provide the body's needs. As a result of that, these elite athletes are living longer. And that's clearly identified in the book why there is this problem. I know in my early days, even in medical school, we were taught that you exercise too much, you get the athletic heart, or it's a muscular heart, you stop exercising, converts into fat, and you die early. My father, a practicing dentist in Oklahoma City, never embraced my athletic career. In high school, I won the state championship in the mile run, almost set a new state record, was all state in basketball. He never saw me play basketball. He never saw me run an event because that was his way of rebelling. He didn't keep me fit because he knew I was going to be dying early. I've outlived him by 18 years. So I just wish in retrospect, I had known then what I know now, because I think he died early unnecessarily. Now, I have 3 siblings, 4 other siblings, there's 4 of us in my family, and they're all have testimonies in the book, and we're all alive from 97 years of age as my oldest sister to my brother is 87 years of age, and we're all still exercising. So they've been practicing what I've been preaching, and my mother and father weren't able to do that. We're all living longer and enjoying life to the fullest. So people
are they all Cooperized, is fair to say?
Right. Now, there's 8 different things. You'll see that in the book, but not only is the exercising at least 30 minutes collectively, most days per week. That's what I try to average. I now have converted to a recumbent bicycle because I broke my leg snow skiing back 21 years ago. I just stopped jogging after 40 years and 38,000 miles. But you don't stop exercise. You have to continue. It's a journey, not a destination. So I work out the end of the day. I start my day each morning with prayer and Bible study. I've done this for years. I end my day working out on the recumbent bike, and then I'm doing some exercising on the fitness equipment. The reason I pause for a minute there now is that I'm now trying something new. It's called muscle activation technology. Our personal trainers are skilled in that because it's possible, even at my advanced stage, you can build up new muscle. I have a weakness in my right knee and my right quadricep muscle because I've tried to adjust it to the injury. You just don't heal the tibial plateau fracture, and I'm not a candidate for having a total replacement. But I found I can neutralize the muscle strength I have in my quadricep muscle and keep me from falling. That's your falling muscle. And so it's working well. This new technology I wasn't even familiar with. It's muscle activation technique that's being taught by our trainers. And of course, people throughout the fitness world should be aware of that. If you don't know something about muscle activation technology, look into that, because that's a new dimension of something we can do for our people that can help them to keep them from falling. So that's one thing that we're working on at the present time. So these are all things I'm still actively involved in, even at my advanced stage. Not going to stop. But people ask people over the years, what motivates you to continue exercise? The vast majority come back with one statement, say, because it makes me feel good. Because I've never felt so much better. People tell me all the time in the letters and texts I get throughout the world, I wish I'd known 15 years ago how much better I could feel. I feel so much better. I've lost all those good years of 15 years I wasn't fit against the younger people that are watching this video today, watching this podcast, that I hope you realize that you can enjoy a quality of life that you may be missing if you don't get physically fit. And do that by getting Cooperized with the 8 different things we recommend. Going down the list, we have proper weight, we have proper diet, we have proper exercise, we have control, elimination of alcohol, elimination of cigarettes and tobacco smoking. In fact, there's 8 different things we recommend: stress management, proper sleep, getting at least 7 to 8 hours sleep a night, and getting an examination. Because I told you, examination we have are unique, they're expensive. Then people come throughout the world. We have a 90-day waiting list, people trying to come for examination. They come from everywhere. And 74% are return patients. They pay big dollars to come back because they're enjoying a quality of life. People who are physically fit are less depressed, they're less hypochondriac, improved self-image, and much more positive attitude towards life. And we've proven that in some 700 articles we publish in peer-reviewed journals.
Humble brag. No, it's unbelievable, Dr. Cooper, what your evidence and what the people, the the mecca almost that the Cooper Clinic, I think, is, and what it's doing to everybody there. So one of the things though that you emphasize though is about personal responsibility in health.
Exactly. That's
And and so how, my question for you is, how do you encourage people who feel maybe overwhelmed or discouraged to even get started when they've got bad habits? What do you do with those guys?
Well, if you get physically fit, you may have more productive waking hours. That's number one. But you can't rely upon the government. The government has totally failed in trying to improve the health of our people. That's why we're trying to, quote unquote, get America healthy again. I want to tell the Secretary of Health and Human Services, this is the way they do it. Follow the recommendations in this book, because there's detailed recommendations how to make you live longer and healthier, that's supported by 700 papers and published for your journals. So again, trying to motivate people to do this. If I don't have the time, I have an acronym I use, the TEMMPM. The reason people don't exercise: I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, I don't have the money, I don't have the motivation, I don't have the place. TEMPM, and it's not fun. Those are the excuses I get all the time. But just a moment, you think you're having fun now, you're enjoying life to the fullest, you're not embracing a whole lot of medical problems you're trying to get over. You don't stop and think that your health is your responsibility. It's not the government's responsibility. It's not the insurance responsibility. It's not your physician, his or her responsibility, unless they're trained in preventive medicine or lifestyle medicine, unless they're trained. So you might try that if you take this, we'll find that no drug can replicate the benefits of an active lifestyle. So we have things this problem. You want to take your life, you're bored, you're tired, you're fatigued all the time, or you want a life that you're vibrant, you're productive, you're efficient, even in your 95th year. If you do, you got to get Cooperized.
So what do you think about pickleball? You talk about fun. I mean, pickleball, right? Like, I think that that's starting to getting some people moving, and I'm okay with it.
I want you to know that's the most popular adult exercise in America today. We were forced to install 4 pickleball courts at our fitness center here now. We have the tennis courts right next to them. We had to have 4 pickleball courts, and they're both usually I got to work this morning, so you get early. It's already filled, the pickleball courts and tennis courts. And we have this beautiful 30-acre estate the Lord has given to us that is a fantastic facility, and it's equipped with one of the best fitness centers in America. Our physical examination here is ranked number 2 behind the Cleveland Clinic. Next is Duke Medical School, Johns Hopkins Medical School, and the Mayo Clinic. I had a visit the Mayo Clinic the other day to come by, and I said, "What are you doing in my office? You want to visit with me?" "To spy," is what he said, because they're behind us. "How are you doing this?" "I've got a group coming in from China. They want to transmit our physical examination over to the island of Anan. And I've been working with the government now to see if I can legally work with China, with the State Department. And they're encouraging me to, because I'm so well known in China. I've been there 13 times, and I'm probably better known in China than the United States. I was over the last time in 2019 before COVID, and I was speaking in Vital Lake outside of Beijing. And they promoted my visit by putting big signs on the highway of me walking with my Maltese dog. And Dr. Cooper's going to be speaking at Vital Lake and all that. And so, as I said, it's just amazing in China. We have a place in Nanjing, China, and we'll soon have this associated with this group on Hainan Island and approved by the government. We may be the best means of conversation with the Chinese government than anybody, because they're interested in health. And so it's a wonderful opportunity, worldwide opportunity we're having. In fact, the book that was, the article that was published in the magazine, that published in CNN, it's gone worldwide, as I think I may have mentioned. It's been downloaded by 729 million, 700,000 people. And I'm even getting texts from places like Uzbekistan. I had to go to the map and find out where is Uzbekistan. All over the world, people are coming to us because the response has been, it's just like music. It's an international language. But you talk about the health, what you can do for yourself. I didn't realize that. I realized I had to depend upon my insurance company, the government, or somebody else. But it's my responsibility. You take that responsibility yourself. As I've done this in my life, and for my patients, I recommend, you might be surprised the results you get. And I would say, if that happens around the world, praise the Lord. I want to give him the glory.
Oh man. Well, maybe that Chinese billboard, I'm sure that you already have the cover figured out for your book, but it feels to me like that could have been a nice cover for your book.
You've seen the cover of the book. You've seen the book, haven't you? You've seen this.
Yes. Yes,
now,
sir.
This is the book.
Yeah.
And it says, "It's growing healthier as you grow older by the father of aerobics, how life devoted to preventive medicine and the global fitness revolution." I think I'll explain why that it has been a life devoted to preventive medicine and the fostering the global fitness revolution.
So, Dr. Cooper, one of the things that you speak often about, though, is that cardiovascular exercise, how that contributes to longevity. And specifically, I'd be curious to get your thoughts on what do you think makes that most accessible and effective for people, specifically maybe over the age of 50?
Let me base this on a very famous article we published November 3rd, 1989, among our 700 articles we published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, entitled Physical Fitness at All Cause Mortality. Followed 10,000 people for a period of years. And what we found, if they can move up one block on the fitness scale as measured by the treadmill time, very poor, poor, fair, good, excellent period, move up one block from very poor to poor, they can increase their life expectancy by 6 years and decrease death all cause by 58%. All the way out to the end, the top category of fitness is only a 9-year increase in longevity and 65% reduction. So the greatest investment on your fitness investment is to move from being totally sedentary, just moderate exercise. As I said, 30 minutes, collective or sustained, most days per week, will move at least 90% of the people up from the first category to the second category and some to the third category. It's so little to do that, but it takes discipline. That's the thing that we've ignored in our people throughout the world. They don't have the discipline to continue. I didn't continue. I didn't like it, whatever it may be. People ask me over the years if there's one word that you would attribute your success, spiritual, physical, whatever it may be, I say it's discipline. And one translation of Proverbs 13:15 is that shame and poverty come through those who are not disciplined. So I'm basing that on a biblical principle that discipline is what we need. Once you get disciplined, your eating habits, your exercise habits, you're avoiding stimulants, you're avoiding alcohol. I said alcohol because we saw talk about controlling alcohol in the past. That's one of the 7 things, one of the 8 things we recommend getting Cooperized. But now there's new information. We used to think that people could safely drink alcohol, whether it's beer, wine, or hard liquor, by no more than 2 drinks a day for men, and one a day for, that'd be 7 or 14 per week. Big article came out within the past year from Europe that pointed out that if men drink 2 drinks a day or 14 drinks a week, that they're showing the lifespan by 1.5 to 2 years. But even more important, we now have this in the book. New data is showing that people who consume any amounts of alcohol, I don't drink at all, I never have, but any amounts of alcohol, beer, wine, or hard liquor, they're increasing the risk of 7 cancers. Cancer starting in the mouth, in the larynx, in the esophagus, in the colon, in the breast. All these different cancers are now related to excess, not even to excess, it's any consumption of alcohol. I mean, these are recommendations that people aren't going to embrace the whole concept. But just remember, if you get a little movement, if you take an inch, you don't have to move by a yard to have improvement. Just move an inch on some of these 7 things or 8 things. Take them just one at a time. But I say number 1 on that list is to get yourself physically fit, because the big thing we looked at too, and listen to this, we followed some 20,000 people that came to a clinic with an average age of 50 years. And the only thing we looked at was their level of fitness measured by time on the treadmill. Didn't look at their cholesterol levels, their blood pressure, their height, weight, anything of that type. We just looked at time on the treadmill. And we compare the top 20 percentile with the bottom 20 percentile. These people, the top 20 percentile, had 36% less Alzheimer's dementia than the bottom category. Remember, the only we looked at was their fitness. They had 40% reduction in chronic kidney disease requiring dialysis, the bottom category. They had 25% reduction in all types of cancer and 25% reductions in congestive heart failure, which is going up around the world. Ours is going down. But the big thing is they had a 40% reduction in the cost of healthcare in that top category versus the bottom category. We're the first people to prove that you could prevent Alzheimer's prevention. I say shipboard funny prevent disease and find a cure, and you can reduce the cost of healthcare. I've given those statistics, the same thing I'm giving to you right now, to both Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz from Texas, and John Cornyn from Texas, sitting in my office when they came by for examinations and all. And they said, this is fantastic information. We've got to get this to Washington and get it out. I said, good luck. I've been trying for 40 years, not a success. I'm going to be sending copies of the book to the Secretary of HUD, Scott Turner. He's been my patient for many, many years. I promised him I'm sending copies of the book to go to him, and then one to the Secretary of HHS and to one to President Trump. I'll be doing this in the next few days, sending this, promising by Scott Turner, I will be doing this for the hope you pass it on. Let's see what happens.
No, absolutely. I was just found myself at the White House even just a week ago talking about the MAHA movement. And I do think we have such an opportunity that we haven't seen before with embracing exercise and physical movement as preventative healthcare. And just as you know, the statistics of what it costs to invest in movement and exercise is so minimal compared to what, what sick care, healthcare versus sick care. And I
Yeah.
think that we're in a system with that, right?
Yeah, do that word wellness is what we're shooting for. We want to improve the wellness of the world. And I really believe it has an international potential. My books have been translated to multiple languages. We have 15 languages, but 42 different translations. Like we have 5 translations in German, for example. So I'm sure this book will be picked up by the international effect and have an effect. Other thing I want to share with you too, though, is that I've been writing articles in Decision magazine. And I've been doing this for a long time. It's a Billy Graham organization. And I have a section of which Franklin Graham talks about body and soul. He talks about the soul. I talk about the body. And that's why I've been doing this since January 2021, with the first article is entitled How God Has Had His Hand on My Life. And we found that by embracing these concepts and getting this article, I don't have it, but it's Decision Magazine. Here it is, right here, Decision Magazine. It's Decision Magazine. And this is the latest one that came out in May of 2025. And it's entitled Hydrate, 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 because this is what we need as exercising people. But you can't believe when you get dehydrated, all the problems that can occur.
Those aren't mojitos, right? Those aren't mojitos and margaritas, right? That's
Now
you part of your Cooper Ice. Yeah.
Go to the internet and bring up Decision Magazine and get the May edition of this, and you can find this article, which hydrate. So that goes to about 1 million people on a bi-monthly basis. I've been doing this since January 2021. Now I've committed to do this to the year 2025. So it is a worldwide impact. And I'm just honored and so pleased. Thank you, Lord, is all I can say for allowing me to be alive and continue doing all these things.
Well, you've worked hard to be here, and we're so blessed that you are. So Dr. Cooper, you created a lot of tools along the way with your career, like the 12-minute fitness test and the aerobics point system, and even a treadmill stress test. And between all of those innovations and more that I can't list, what do you think has been the most impactful and maybe the one that you're most proud of?
Probably the safety and sensitivity and value of treadmill stress testing, because that's been a barrier for me from day one. I designed this along with my colleague Bill Thornton when I was in the Air Force working with NASA, because they did not have a readable EKG or exercising subject interface because the technology had not developed. So that was the problem that we had to resolve for NASA and for the Air Force. We resolved that, and then I did over 10,000 tests, back performance treadmill stress tests in the military. So I knew I could do it safe and effectively. But number one, getting your level of fitness, but even more important than that is picking up early coronary disease that's not being picked up by a resting EKG. And so by doing this, we've done over 300,000 back performance treadmill, successful treadmill stress tests, and 16.1% are abnormal equivocal. Only 5% of those people knew they had a problem. So 11% of the people coming to the Cooper Clinic, have the treadmill stress test, end up getting into the hospital, having angioplasty or stent, and they thought they're healthy coming in. And remember, the most common first symptom of severe heart disease is sudden death. That happens all too often, which is unnecessary. And we pick this up coming in right and left. And we talk about the story of George W. Bush, when he came to the clinic and all. His picture is in the book. A picture taken with him at Bethesda Naval Hospital. I did his examination there for 8 years. It was nominated for Surgeon General. I couldn't accept that. There was too many complications to try to do that. Whether it had been approved, I don't know. But that was another, God had his son on my lap. If I'd been Surgeon General for 8 years, I wouldn't be where I am here today. So again, it's been a divinely inspired life. One other thing, as far as the article that I have written in Decision Magazine, is one that you'd find interesting too. And it is entitled, Can You Grow Healthier as You're Growing Older? And that's right along with the book. I had it marked here. But that's the title of the article, is Growing Healthier as You're growing older. And that's one of the things I want to talk about for a second, because even at my advanced age, in my 95th year, it is still possible to build up new muscle mass. and that can keep you from falling. And that's based on a major article published by Tufts University many years ago, which they took a group of men for a period of 6 weeks, had them working out by doing leg lifts, sitting at a chair, sitting at a table, and breaking up the legs. They gradually increased the weight. At the end of the 6 weeks, they found that there was a 96% increase in strength of the legs, 9% increase in the size of the legs, and an improvement in walking speed, even though their average age was 90.4 years. And that's one of the myths of aging. You can't build up muscle mass after 50 years of age. We're going to be with the link in. We're going to be doing a whole series of the 13 myths of aging that are things I was taught in medical school that you can't do. That's just a myth. It's because you're rushing out, not wearing out. And you can turn that around. Even at advanced stage, you can do that. Even at 90 years of age, you can build new muscle mass. I'm banking on that with our muscle activation technique. So a lot of these things have
do you feel healthier? Do you feel healthier as you're growing older?
I feel healthier than I've felt in years. I'm excited about all this because that they're wearing me out with all these books I'm having to sign to get to all of our staff. I made a mistake. We have 550 staff members here at our campus. And I told them all, I'll guarantee you, if you want to copy this book, I will personally autograph it to you. I've been doing this for hours. There's a stack of books back here.
Yeah, carpal tunnel you're getting, yes.
It's not just signing my name. It's individually to these people. And I'm going to do the same thing for you, and I send the books to you.
Oh, I can't wait. So one of the things you talk about in the book, though, is squaring off the curve. And do you think you could talk to us a little bit about why that's such a powerful goal for aging well?
It is, because most people, they don't live, they just exist after a certain period of life. People, when they retire, I say, putting the famous Zig Ziglar, you don't retire, you refire. That's what I've said. When you retire, your medical cost goes up and your quality of life goes down. You've got to have some discipline when you retire. It's the most important time in your life when you retire. That's why when I say growing healthier as you grow older, when you retire, this is perfect for you because I can benefit from that. So again, it's just, if you've got the excuse, I've got an answer to that. And this is in the book that you'll find, because where there's a will, there's a way. But you got to have the desire. You have to take it a step at a time. You don't want to get fit in one day. You got to take it gradually. You get permission from your physician, particularly for an older person. You may have unknown heart disease. If you have any chest discomfort, I fought that in the days of Jane Fonda when she did exercise to the burn. And I was interviewed on national television. Do you recommend that? I say no, because that burn could be angina, which is chest pain from heart disease. That could be dangerous. And so right after that, I got a letter from Jane Fonda, and I saw the address up on the top of the lawsuit. But to the contrary, said, Dr. Cooper, you've been in this business longer than I have. You made a mistake, I've made my mistake. Why don't we work together and make it a safe thing? And so we made aerobic dancing a safe thing, and we would review her tapes then and make recommendations. But Jane Fonda did not start aerobic dancing. That was started by Jackie Sorensen. I think she's out in California now, and she started aerobic dancing. It wasn't Jane Fonda. But Jane Fonda was most successful. And when I saw the first demonstration of aerobic dancing with Jackie Sorensen, I said, this is great. But then my wife didn't want her to be the father of aerobics, the mother of aerobics.
Mother of aerobics, right? Yeah.
Mother of aerobics. I don't want to even take that. Jackie Sorensen, Jane Fonda, because I was the one who typed up the book, and my wife, after 65 years of marriage, have some command in my life.
Well, I mean, I gotta hand it to, I mean, a healthy aging, Jane Fonda. I mean, she's checked that box. You know, she is looking great and stays really active. But so Dr. Cooper, you've got over 2 million pieces of personal years of data at the Cooper Center, where you've been doing this longitudinal study for so long, and with so much data and so many clients, repeat clients, and all that you have seen, what's been maybe some of the most profound insight of the research that you've uncovered as part of healthy aging and learning?
You know, yeah, you bring up an interesting point, because I've been concerned about my advanced stage, that my son has done a great job as the president of the organization, but has very little interest in research. And so I've been having to raise the money myself over the past few years, and it was on the verge of getting enough money to come in to keep the research institute alive. Well, I'm happy to say that in November, that we actually had a transition of the ownership of the Cooper Institute to Texas Tech University, their medical organization, located out in Lubbock, Texas, because Ted Mitchell, who is the chancellor of Texas Tech, is also the chairman of our board of trustees of our research institute. And so he saw the possibility there of joining their School of Public Health they have here in Dallas among their many branches in West Texas of Texas Tech Medical's organization. And so we have this branch downtown. Our research institute has been moved down there, and it's now called the Kenneth H. Cooper Institute for Preventive Medicine. It's the new member research institute. But they've guaranteed continuity of our data repository, which is the largest in the world. 150,000 patients, 300,000 treadmill stress tests, and we have 2.2 million persons of follow-up on these patients. Nobody has data like that. But I want that to continue to come in after I'm long gone. So to get this assurance now that we have with Texas that's going to follow through with the funding of it, it's an absolute prayer as far as I'm concerned. It's made in heaven. And by the way, we're making this video, and Texas Tech is playing tonight to see if they win the national championship in softball. And we're close, watching that very closely. They're up tonight. They win tonight. They win the national championship. They've never won a national championship in anything before. But we've been very impressed with what Ted Mitchell has done. With Texas, he's now, as I said, the chancellor out there and my best friend.
Well, I love it. Texas sports. That's another culture in and of itself, right? I love it though.
Yeah.
So listen, Dr. Cooper, these are called shorts for a reason because we got to keep it short, and I could talk to you forever because you're such a legend in our industry. But I kind of, as you tell your life story in this book, I want to sort of close out, which hints on all of the decades of dedication and service that you have had to our industry. What legacy do you hope that this book leaves for the next generation of health advocates and professionals?
I hope it'll be promoted by what your organization is doing, the Health and Fitness Association of the world, because it's a vehicle now we have available to follow on what I've done over these past, that's 54 years of research. I hope it promotes other people around the world to take the mantle and go along too and start getting good objective data, because there's no way we'd be where we are today if we didn't have the research to back it up. I actually established my research institute 6 months before I saw my first patient back in December 1970, because I knew my first 2 books had written while I was still in the Air Force, based on population of average age of 28 years. I had to have good, undeniable research to bridge that gap between fadism and scientific legitimacy exercised across the world. And now the results are too impressive to be ignored. And praise the Lord if they continue even be bigger and bigger than it is in the present time. You're helping us make that, and so it's an honor to be associated with your organization too, I guarantee you.
Well, it's a partnership, and to have leaders like you, we are so honored to be able to draft behind all of the hard work that you've done and just echo it and champion it and everything. And to honor you again as the inaugural Hall of Fame inductee for our first class was a no-brainer. So it has been such an honor for me to talk to you today, Dr. Cooper, and everything that you've done for this industry, for this association, and for the health and wellness of people around the world is truly tremendous. So thank you for your contributions, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you too. Look at my right over my right shoulder, and there's the award I received from you. Thank you very much.
Be well.
Matrix is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of Shorts with Liz Clark. With over 20 years as a dedicated supporter of the fitness industry, we're thrilled to continue a partnership geared towards success for all those who believe in better.